Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at people who had a I have to get out of here experience. Yeah, let's just get right into the video. I'm a criminal defense investigator. I had a murder case involving two brothers. The one accused of the murders was very autistic, and his brother was a schizophrenic. The schizophrenic brother lived in a potato shack in the middle of the desert. I needed to talk to him several times throughout the course of the investigation, and since he didn't have a phone or electricity, I had to drive several hours out to his house and yell his name from the fence line until he came out of the shack. This investigation lasted for several years, and over time, I developed a rapport with schizophrenic brother, and I kind of got to like him. He would talk your ear off about the aliens with golden eyes and the underground tunnels that connects all the Walmarts in the country, but he was pretty entertaining, and part of me wonders how much it was a show. Schizophrenic brother eventually gets a girlfriend. I talked to her a few times in jail when she was sober, and she was surprisingly charming and insightful. The last time I go to see schizophrenic brother, it's a dark winter night, and Tweaker girlfriend is there. She's lurking in the shadows and staring daggers at me the entire time I'm talking to him. I cut off his conversation about the speakers and his feelings and walk back to my truck to leave. A minute later, schizophrenic brother comes running out and tells me that he wants to show me something in his shack. He's never invited me inside before, and I'm not thrilled by the prospect. The whole thing feels off to me, so I tell him I have to get going and start the truck. The look of relief on his face when I declined to go inside convinced me that Tweaker girlfriend was waiting behind the door with a hammer or something. A few months later, I learned that she killed him in his sleep and stashed his body in an old refrigerator. She had since pled guilty to his murder. What? Out of nowhere? Wait, so what about like the first murder case? We didn't find out if it was actually the brothers or not. Holy, like, dude, I'm just curious now, like, why the girlfriend did that. Like, was she in on the other murder case then? You know, and then did she become his girlfriend to kill him because he knew too much or something? I watch too many crime shows, but seriously, what in the world? Good they didn't go inside. Yeah, if something feels off, if someone does something out of the ordinary, that's sus, dude. That's very sus. Possibly fighting a house fire and realizing that I had very hot feet through concrete-soled boots. My officer and I immediately noped out. Hot feet means you're standing above a fire. As fire burns upwards, it's weakening the floor beneath you. So we were about to plummet into a basement fire. Whoa! That's crazy. How does a fire even start in the basement? Like, what was going on down there, dude? Well, I guess some people have like kitchens in the basement, eh? Crazy how they realized it so fast, honestly. My dumb butt would be like, oh my god, guys, the floor is so hot. And then we all die. One time I was out in Colorado with some buddies hiking near the top of a mountain. Some bad weather started to roll in, but the top was only 15 minutes away, so I went ahead while they went back down. As I was getting to the top, I felt static in the air and the hair in my head started to stand up. I immediately started to panic because I thought I was about to get struck by lightning, so naturally I ran down without ever getting to the top. I'm not sure if I was going to get struck, but I sure as hell wasn't sticking around to find out. Dang! Good. I think they were about to, because haven't we read all these signs about when you're about to get struck by lightning? Yep, your hair stands up. But how does that even work though? So let's say they're not at the top anymore and they go all the way down. So lightning doesn't hit them anymore, right? Because, you know, it was said that lightning likes hitting like the tallest thing in the area, right? I don't even know. So what about like bald people? How do they tell? They just look at the hair in the arms or something? Exploring an abandoned high-rise. Out of the blue, my friend grabbed me by my collar from behind. I was about to step into an elevator shaft. After swearing at him, "What the F?" he said, "Look." And I saw the drop of like 20 floors to a concrete bottom with broken metal rods sticking out. We went home. He saved my life 100%. That's my biggest nightmare, dude. Thinking you're about to go into an elevator, but there's no floor and you just drop all the way down. Jeez, that's scary as. This is why you just shouldn't explore. Just stay at home. Just don't explore. Don't go outside. No, seriously, don't go exploring in abandoned places, please. And if you are going to do that, please go with a group or something. Don't go by yourself, because when you get lost, you're dead. I worked a lot in remote areas of West Texas, servicing oilfield related equipment. One time, I was out in the middle of nowhere as usual, and to the northeast was a butte. A butte? But everywhere else around was pretty flat. There was one road in and out of the site I was at. At some point when I was working on a control box, I had an overwhelming feeling that I was being watched. I scanned the horizon, looked all around the butt, and went back to work. This happened a few more times within several minutes until I finally saw something move on the side of one of the rock outcroppings on the butt. Is that how you actually say it? Butt? Butte. Oh, never mind. I went to my truck, grabbed my binoculars, and the figure hid behind that outcropping. It was definitely a human. I glanced him for a good 20 minutes and I could see him peek around every couple of minutes. Eventually he leaned out so far that I could see the silhouette of the barrel of a rifle slung around his back. At some point he was hidden behind his rock for a while, and the next time he peeked out I couldn't see the rifle. He had either put it down somewhere or he was now holding it. I immediately felt a sense of impending doom. The hair on my arms and neck was standing straight up. I very quickly collected my tools, got my AR-15 from behind the driver's seat and sat it on the passenger seat, and tore it out of there. I sped down the dirt road, almost clipped a cattle guard, and started cruising down the highway just as the adrenaline started to wear off. I remember the metal taste in my mouth and having to grip the steering wheel to keep my fingers from twitching. A few miles down the road, a maroon Suburban full of guys was pulled over on the oncoming side of the road. They definitely weren't Oilfield workers, shades all around, buzzed heads, all intently looking at me. I expected them to pull a U-turn and pursue me, but they didn't. I can't prove that this is what was happening, but I do know that cattle guys run operations where one scouts for guys working alone and calls in a group of guys to rob them of their truck and tools. That's scary. Yo, this is why being out at night doing things or working is always scary. Everything is just more dangerous at night, man. Like, you can't see anything. And everybody's asleep, so even if you want to yell for someone to help you, no one's gonna hear you. Was walking from a local shopping mall to the train station so I could go home. The shortcut went through a huge long tunnel and was out of sight from the road and wasn't used unless you knew the area. When I got to the tunnel, I looked up and saw one guy standing right at the other end of the tunnel, in the middle, just looking in my direction, like he was waiting. Every hair on my body stood on end. I felt like I needed to vomit, and before I knew what I was doing, my feet turned me around and started walking fast away. He started walking after me and said, "Don't worry, it's not like I'm gonna you." I ran and walked right on the edge of a highway in plain view of cars in case he ran after me. I couldn't stop shaking for an hour. That's so scary! Yo! Okay, this is every girl's nightmare. What the heck? What kind of person would do that? Why would he even chase after her and scream that? What in the world, dude? I'm glad she got out of there fast, and I'm glad she didn't try to like calm herself down, because I feel like a lot of us would have been like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. He's just standing there waiting for someone else. It's fine. Don't make him look like a creep. Don't make him feel bad if you walk away, you know? But sometimes you just gotta trust your gut feeling and run. Even if they turn out to not be a creep, don't risk it. I must have been around 10 or 12 when this happened. I was walking back home one afternoon around 3 or 4 p.m. after strolling around the neighborhood, which was usually very safe, friendly, and quiet. I was on the opposite side of the block, the house behind ours, which wasn't an issue because there happened to be a park that went across the whole block and connected to the other side, so you didn't have to go around the whole block, so I was only a few houses away. I went through the park, a park I had played at my entire childhood. Without paying much attention, when about halfway through, this guy who I didn't know, definitely older than me, wearing a hoodie, started calling me. "Dude, come over here one sec." What do you want?" "Come here, I just want to ask you something." "Okay, ask me from over there." No, come over please." "No, tell me from over there." At that point, another dude that was sitting next to him gets upset. I hear a "that's it," and they both stood up quickly and started making their way towards me. I can't recall how far they chased after me, but my instincts just told me to run like hell, and I did. To this day, I still don't know if they were gonna mug me, if they were just taking a piss, or what was happening, but it definitely scared kid me. That would scare me now, dude. I don't care if I'm a kid, if I'm 20, if I'm 30, if I'm 40. If someone does something like that and they come towards you with you telling them to just stay over there, that would still scare me. That's creepy as. The fact that they did this to like a 10-year-old, yeah, that is suspicious. They were definitely planning something. You don't just scare a kid like that without any intention. No. My wife and I were on a search mission for some missing fern pickers. We were volunteers with the local search and rescue SRR team. We decided to stay in the search area that night and had built a pretty nice fire. We were sitting there and it was about 2 a.m, hoping this dude would wander into camp. I had heard animals around us throughout the night. No surprise, we're in the middle of the woods. I'm used to animals stalking around outside my camp. I knew there were 2 animals, one on each side of us. It was about that point when we heard a bird chirp. It came from about the place I figured one of the animals were, then another from the opposite side. I immediately realized we were being watched and stalked by at least 2 cougars. We very quickly climbed into the back of my truck. It's got a camper shell and is outfitted for truck camping. What? Oh, so apparently cougars chirp like birds to communicate. Whoa. Okay, I thought it was an actual bird chirping. So when they heard the birds chirping, they knew it was a cougar. Dang, they're smart, man. Yeah, I'm dumb. My dumb butt would actually be like, oh my god, it's a bird, let's go see. Oh no. Back when my son was about only a year old, my husband worked second shift, so I was alone every evening. We lived in townhouses at the time and had a neighbor who was a war vet my husband was friendly with. He was a little off in the sense there was very obvious PTSD and other traumas, but all around a nice dude. Anyway, one evening this guy knocked on the door. I opened it thinking he was probably looking for my husband, and I was just gonna let him know he was working. Dude was super drunk, wouldn't stop talking, and kinda made his way into the house. He also brought his Who's German Shepherd with him. I was trying to be friendly, but I had the worst feeling in my stomach. I felt insanely vulnerable and like something just wasn't right with this situation. I kept trying to tell him in the nicest way to leave, but he wouldn't. I texted my husband, hey, neighbor guy's here and won't leave, he's trashed, I feel really uncomfortable. My husband texted his buddies that lived a few apartments down and they came over immediately. They got the dude out of the house and not even 20 minutes later, I hear noises outside and this guy is trying to rip the license plate off my car. My husband's friends heard it or saw it. I'm not really sure, but they came over and were more aggressive about him going home and leaving me alone. And he did, so I thought. A few hours later, my husband gets home and sees this guy hanging out, crouched behind some cars. He goes up to him to ask him exactly what he's doing. I don't know the exact details because I stayed hiding in the house, but this guy had ropes and some other weapons on him and full intentions of doing things to me that night. It makes me sick to think that if my husband's friend wouldn't have came over as fast as they did to help me, my poor son would have watched something horrible happen to me, or what he would have even done to my child. What in the frickities? Yeah. This is why you should just not open the door for anybody, you know? Always lock your door, and if your neighbor comes, blah, 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 yeah, just talk to them with the doors locked, alright? If they ask to come in, no, sorry. Thank gosh for the husband's friends though. Those are some real buddies. Amazing. They got her back and they got his back. Dude, those are some amazing friends, okay? These are the kind of people that you need in your life, alright? Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoy. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!